We have Pat Sullivan is here to wrap it up, and then we'll have Joan step up here, and we have a short, very short, about a minute clip. Sully had the opportunity to pitch for my dad back in the 60s. Had the opportunity to work with Dad here at the college. More importantly, was truly one of Dad's best friends, and one of our best friends within our entire family, and we're very happy to have Pat be our final speaker. Sully?
I had the great pleasure of playing for Gordie for 4 years in college and of working with him here for 25 years. And I think I speak for everyone in the audience when I would say this: I never liked Gordie. Now, we've heard a lot about Gordie's driving, right? But Gordie also struggled a little bit with directions. Am I right on it? Now, I should be talking about that, right, Bob? I once took a team to Michigan, and the only problem was we were playing in Wisconsin. So we had to take a left, okay? But Pete, we're in your old neighborhood. We're at northeastern Illinois. And I thought Gordie made a wrong turn. Me, Mr. Directions, right? I'm thinking he made a wrong turn. So I mentioned it to him. He said, no, this is my old neighborhood. This is where we grew up. He said, I know this like the back of my hand. When we were driving on Dempster Street by Notre Dame and Niles, I thought we might jump on a tollway and go visit Earl in Milwaukee. Now, you saw the video. You saw what a great speaker Gordie was, right? Well, I'd like to share one night that Gordie often referenced. I know Joan is aware of this, where Gordie really didn't have people sitting on the edge of their seats. We were asked to come to a local VFW, talk about St. Francis Athletics. So now, when Gordie is speaking, I'd like you to visualize this. To the right of Gordie were 3 tables where the veterans were playing poker, totally concentrating on the poker game. To the left of Gordie were 2 tables where they were shooting craps. Now, the guy who invited us coerced 2 of his friends to sit right in front of Gordie. He had imbibed a little bit that night. In the middle of Gordie's talk, he kicked over his beer bottle, and it just kept rolling down while Gordie was still trying to talk. Top it off, when we leave, we knew a fella from the Armory where we played basketball. And he said, hey, you 2 wait for me here. I got to go fight a Marine, and I'll be right back in. And the last thing I'd like to share on this topic is the Armory. When Gordie and I came here in 1976, we had a basketball team, but we had no place to play. There was no room in the local high schools because they need the schools for the gyms for their own use. So Jack Gore got us squared away to play in the Joliet Armory. And Gordie told me we're going to fix it up, and it's going to look just like the Chicago Stadium where he had played. And then he said, we're even going to have an organ. That's how much we're going to make it like the stadium. I had never been in the Armory before, so I thought I better go see this place. I walked in, it was the dirtiest, filthiest floor that I'd ever seen. Literally, tanks and trucks were parked on the floor. No baskets, so you'd have to play a lot of defense because you weren't going to score. No baskets, no bleachers, no scoreboard, nothing, okay? Now, true to his word, Gordie got that place ready to go, and it was ready for opening day, except we had 2 problems. We did have the organ. Goose and Mark will remember this. We did have the organ. The problem was the organist. He knew 2 songs, the Mickey Mouse song and Funeral Dirges. Our kids really got excited. They were excited, warming up to Amazing Grace and the Ave Maria. Now, if I may, I'd just like to share a few serious thoughts. On April 14th, of 1926, God gave us a gift. And he gave us a gift like no other gift. I know from talking to all the guys that next to your parents, probably the most important and the most influential person in your life was Gordie. Now there's a great expression about life. Does this fit him? It's not what you gather, it's what you scatter. Think of all the goodness and the love and the values that he scattered. It's absolutely amazing. And I always felt this as I continue to work with Gordon, again, see what you think. I thought his athletic philosophy meshed perfectly with his philosophy of life. They were one and the same. He always liked to tell the story. Some of the Lewis guys will remember Mr. Grimes, the heavyset umpire. So Mr. Grimes made a call, favored Lewis. The other coach came out and talked to Mr. Grimes. He reversed the call, changed the call. So as Gordie's coming out of the dugout, Mr. Grimes, who's a big, tough guy, he said, "Gordie, stay right there." He said, "Do you want me to keep the original call and make the wrong call? Or do you want me to change my mind and make the right call?" Think about Gordie's life. You know, like Goose was saying, Gordie's teams won 2,402 games, but they did it the right way. Always the right way. And for all of us, he certainly wanted us to make the right calls in our lives off the field. I'm pitching sophomore year in Chicago. Tournament that Lewis always wins. I relieved my good friend Ken Nelson. Now it's the 9th inning, scores tied, bottom of the 9th. Tie score, tournament we always win. Eddie, you were coming up, I do remember that. You, Tom Thillins, all our good hitters were coming up. So what I did in the bottom of the 9th, I gave up 3 straight hits. We lost the tournament. Now a lot of you can relate to this. Before I got off the mound, Gordie was at the mound. And he said, "You walk off this mound with your head up because you're going to win more games for Lewis than you'll ever lose." Think about when some of you went through tough times. Where'd the first call come from? Gord. Often followed by what? The handwritten note, right? Now I'm pitching another game. This is important. Summer league. Okay? We're winning like 9-1. Top of the 9th, I'm on first base. 2 outs. Ball's hit to the left fielder. Think about Gordie on this, okay? Ball's hit to the left field. It's going to be caught. It's an easy out. So I kind of trotted to second base, right? It's a summer game. It's probably 10:30 at night. We got to get 3 outs. As I'm going to the dugout, and Gord's coaching third base, he just stopped me. He looked me in the eye. He said, "Don't ever do that again." I didn't go all out on the play. When you played for Gordie, you had to go all out on every play. And the same with what he wanted for you in your life. To go all out and do all the good that you could do. And I'd like to finish with this, two quotes. The first comes from one of my favorite country songs. The group Alabama has the song, "There Are Angels Among Us." And I think the refrain, when it was written, they may have had Gordie in mind, because the refrain goes like this: "Angels come down to us to show us how to live." Gordie never told us how to live. He showed us how to live, okay? Let me get the right. Show us how to live, to teach us how to give. Who gave more? And to lead us with the light of love. And Joan, see what you think. A woman named Maggie Smith writes a lot about dying and death. And she wrote this: "There's no such thing as endings. There's only a place where we leave our stories. And Mike, that's what we did today. We shared stories, and we'll continue to share stories for the rest of our lives about the greatest coach that ever lived, and certainly one of the greatest men that any of us have ever known. Man, thank you.